Well, good Lord, what do we have going on here? Well, I'm doing some stuff. You'll have to watch that on a different episode, a previous episode. I've got to run some coaxial cable. The cable guy was here about 3.5 hours the other day. Couldn't find one good cable coming out for TV or internet inside this entire condo. Can you believe that? So we figured out a way to do it, and I'm in the process of doing that over there. You'll have to watch that on a different video. But I just replaced an electrical outlet that was broken. The tab was broken. It was pushing into the wall. And if you missed that, hey, no biggie. It's on my channel in a previous episode. Okay? But you're in luck because I've got another electrical outlet just like that one downstairs where the top tab was broken. And I found that out when I was taking the cover plates off to do some painting. And I've been remodeling this this condo, and hopefully you've been watching and sticking around with me and watching this. And that's why I've put all of these condo renovations in episodes, so that if you want to go back and watch them from day one, anything I've done on here, I'm going to be putting on different episodes. Okay, so I had just got done painting this wall. I still have to cut in. I just painted the baseboards, and I showed you how to paint baseboards. Remember? I showed you that, and then I'm going to be painting some door frames and casings and door jambs and stuff, and I'll show you how to do that on a different video. I still have to cut the wall in down to the top of the base. Hey, I'll probably make a video of that too, but when I was getting ready to paint, of course you take all the cover plates off. And I took all the cover plates off, and this plug here was giving me fits because I was plugging things into it, and the top of the electrical outlet was kind of going in and out. Let's just see. You know, I did some work on here before I put the cover plate on, and I've got the power off right now. But see here, look at that. That's because the tab has been broken off, and I put the cover plate back on just for the sake of argument, so that nobody would shock themselves when I turn the power back on. I've got it off right now. I turned it off. Remember, it was on the microwave circuit, believe it or not. I've got it off. Okay. Don't ask me why they put that on a microwave circuit. That should not be on a microwave circuit. Okay, they had that one hooked up to the microwave, that one, another one over there, and the microwave. And I think that electrical outlet, that first one right there next to the telephone, I think that's on the microwave circuit too. I mean, who does that? Nobody. Okay, except my good fortune, somebody did it here. Nah. All right. So, okay, I've got the Duplex electrical outlet, matched it up like for like, 68 cents I think it was. That's it. You know, you don't have to be Joe Blow the electrician to remove your bad, defective electrical receptacle. You see, I made a previous video of looking at this to see if I could repair it, because it was loose before and the tab was on there. So I gently pulled it out, and son of a gun, the thing was just barely attached to there, and it snapped right off when I just looked at it. Okay, then I screwed it back into the wall and put the cover plate on just for kicks until I got back from the store so I could replace it. Okay. It's just a Phillips screw, and look at that. This is a nice one. I lucked out. There's only a black, white, and ground wire in this particular box. That tells me that's the end of the line. But it's just going to be easier because I don't have any wires, wire nuts, two sets of whites, blacks, and grounds. Sometimes you'll have a box, just a standard one, with 3, meaning you've got 3 blacks, 3 whites, 3 grounds. You might have some wire nuts in there. This thing could be packed tight, man. Okay, but fortunately for us, it's not. And so I'm right-handed, so I just am gonna go over here like this. I used to cut these wires off and then restrip them, redo the loop. You don't necessarily have to use these side screws. You can use the holes in the back. But see, the funny thing is, most electrical outlets are 15 amp, and they used to have a bigger hole in the back so you could put a 12 gauge wire or a 14 gauge wire in there. 14 gauge Romex is for 15 amp circuits, and 12 gauge wire is for 20 amp circuits. And this looks like to be 12 gauge wire, and so technically you can't push them in these holes, first off, so they just attach them to the side screws. And lots of people do that on a 20 amp circuit. I've seen it all the time where they'll put, where they'll have 15 amp electrical outlets screwed to a 20 amp circuit. And you know, they do have electrical receptacles that are 20 amp. And they, of course they cost more, they look basically the same. And you can do that if you got any questions. But if you look at your existing one, you should be able to see it. Generally, there's some writing up in here where you'll see it. Okay, this one has the 15 on it, and sometimes you might see it on the side somewhere, but generally up in there. This says 15A, so I know it's a 15 amp, and this one is the same. Okay, so I'm not doing anything different than what's here, other than the fact that I see there's only one black wire and one white wire. They're attached to the top screws, so I'm going to use the top screws. So the bottom screws, I'm just going to go ahead and tighten them up, just to keep them out of the way. You know, you don't have to do this, it's just something I do. Okay. Now this is all set up for my white on the left, my black over here, and the black always goes on the gold screws, and the black is the side with the slot that's shorter than the other side. This side with the long slot, that's for your white neutral wires. Silver screws, white wires. Ground screw, green, and usually you'll have just a stripped bare copper wire in there. Pretty straightforward, eh? So like I was saying, I used to just cut these off and then make a new loop, re-strip it. But what if you don't have the stripper? What if you don't know how to do all that kind of stuff? You don't have to. Just take this and turn it over sideways. And I used to take the screw out just to there, and then take my screwdriver and kind of rebend this and hold my mouth just right to get that back over there. Then put it on the new one, and then I have to pinch it back together and stuff. You don't have to do all that. Just undo this screw all the way, okay? Like that. Okay, like that. Now, I'm gonna do that one last. The first two I'm gonna do are these. So I'm just gonna take this and flip it like that, because I'm right-handed, so it's easier for me to do that, okay? Now I'm just gonna undo this screw, and I'm going to take it out all the way. Okay, you'll feel a definite pressure when you think the screw's unscrewed as far as it can go, but you go a little bit further and it'll unscrew. Okay, and I'm just going to do that with all of these. This is the ground screw. On the last one, I couldn't get it out, and this one's doing the same. Good grief. This one's doing the same thing as the other plug I was duplex. Now it finally came out. Good Lord. See, because they pinched that together. There's no way you can just slip that off the screw. Now this, I'm going to end up throwing this away. Okay? But I'm gonna save this this top screw and a little backing washer. And I did this to the last electrical outlet, and these tabs have a little line on them. You see that? there's a little etched line right there, right there. Oh, I think I might have to replace my battery. Okay, I'm going to replace my battery and be right back. Oh man, you know, I'm going to try to do this quick because Momi took my car to get it serviced, and the battery, my extra battery is in there, but I think I have enough juice. Hey, I'm just going to take that off, and this one. I'm gonna save those as little washers. Hey, I do that. You know, you might think, good Lord, why do you save all this stuff? Well, you never know when you're gonna need stuff, right? Okay, so that one's bye-bye, that one's toast. Okay, so now I'm just gonna hold this up sideways, and I can't loop it around on the ground screw because I don't want to change that. So I'm just going to do this screw here. Okay? And then put it back in. Hold your mouth just about right so you can get this. Look at that. Butterfingers. It's not wanting to start. We'll see. There it goes. Make sure you put the ground wire on exactly the same way, and I'm just kind of pulling it this way so I can tighten it up exactly where it was before. Make sure the loop goes the exact same direction. Now see, this one, it has a big enough loop that I can just put it on there and hold it on there. They should have made that a little bit longer for me to then be able to pinch it, but they didn't. And if you do it right, it's going to hold on there anyways. Okay? That's not going to come out. The screw and the wire is flipped the right direction. Now I can just flip that up, and I can look at that one and see, I don't think there's enough room for me to just flip it on to the screw without opening that with my screwdriver and pinching it down and all that. And if you don't have those other tools and you're like, I just want to do the screw, go ahead, do the screw. Put the screw in there like that. Okay? And hold it up there. There it goes. Now, I want to kind of pull on that just to make sure it's pushed up there right. And I'm gonna tighten that down. I'm almost done with this one. Okay, that's it. Now I'm gonna push it back in the box, and I'm gonna not line it up just yet. I want to push it in all the way. Make sure the wires are gonna go in, and they are, because there's no other wires in there. Now I'm gonna hold it up there and see if it's lined up straight. It looks pretty straight. I shouldn't have to tilt it to the right or the left. It looks like it's gonna go in nice and straight. That's my pet peeve. I like to get the receptacles coming straight out. So when I put the cover plate on, the cover plate lines up nice and snug and finished. You know, I took some electrical outlets out because they were tilted and the cover plate was on. I thought, nothing doing. When I put the cover plates back on after painting, I'm gonna do it right. So I turned the power off, pulled it out, bent it over, pushed it back in, did everything right, put the cover plate back on, it looks fine. And that's how you want it. You want it to look like it was meant to be, you know? And I got it. Let's tighten it up a little bit before I do the final little. See, I look at it and I know this top needs to be pushed over that way all the way, and the right needs to be pushed over to the left needs to be pushed over to the right all the way. Because when I look at this box, the box looks almost slightly crooked in the wall. Okay, so I can adjust this as best I can by getting that all the way over that way and push that one all the way over that way. See, now I've got it pretty much lined up straight. Most of the time you don't have to do it that far, but this one I did. Okay, just get it snug where these tabs are tight onto the wall. You don't want to keep tightening it. You could keep tightening it, but then you're going to sink this in and you're going to bend these little tabs out, and that's not going to be nice. Okay, get your cover plate on, call it good. Turn your power back on. Just make that snug. Don't over tighten it. You could crack that. If you have a vinyl cover plate, you won't. But these aren't 100% vinyl. So I'm just standing back, looking back, and you can kind of tweak the cover plate just like how I did. Okay? Stand back, look at it, see if it's lined up straight. Does that look pretty straight? Yeah, it looks pretty straight. See? Now all I have to do, if anything, it looks like the cover plate at the top might have to go back over to the right just a little, just like that, because that box was so crooked. Okay, but I got it. It looks good. All I got to do is turn the breaker back on, check the power, and everything should be fine. That's how you replace an electrical outlet without calling an electrician and without having an electrician take $100 out of your pocket. Okay? And how much did it cost you? Less than $1 to do that. Oh, that's funny. I told viewers on the other video I just did of replacing the other electrical outlet that when you turn the breaker back on, you need to check the receptacle, and I didn't do that upstairs, but I'm going to do that down here. I've got the power back on, the orange lights on, and I'm going to check both. I'm going to check both of them. Okay? It cracked me up one time. I was checking an electrical outlet one time, and I only checked one. I only checked the bottom or something and didn't do the top, or vice versa. And whichever one I checked worked, and the other one didn't work. I didn't know it because I didn't check it, and I just made the assumption, everything's fine. And then later on, we had to go back and look at it, and found out that something was cracked or something was wrong with the top bit of the electrical outlet, or something was broken inside the ground screw or something. I don't even know if the tab was broken off the side for some reason, and it didn't work all the way. So do your due diligence when you get done. Check both of them and make sure it's working after you turn the breaker back on. You can do it. Hey, if I can do it, of course you can too. Wow, I had just enough battery to finish this, okay? So this is a throwaway now. The two little, the gold screw and the silver screw, I don't need those for anything. And so I just throw that away. But I saved the ground screw. Never know when I'm gonna need that ground screw, and I cut the tabs off. I just bent the tabs off back and forth. And now I got two little washers in a pinch if I ever need those. I just throw them in my nail bag, and I've got the one mounting screw that was still there. I'm gonna save that. You never know when you're gonna need one stupid little thing. You will remember, next time you need something, you're gonna hear my voice in the background. I told you you should have saved it. And for the record, I just checked the other electrical outlet I installed and checked it with my wire tester. Just to let you know, I checked it and it's fine.